So we were just talking about the volume of the surface, volume of the cylinder. I wrote the formula down. V is equal to pi r squared h. What is the radius? Almost. 2.5. So that side that is there is actually the diameter. So the radius is half of that, which is 2.5. The height is the 7. So subbing that into our formula, we have pi times 2.5 squared times the height, which is 7. Okay, and then in the calculator. So 137.44. Okay, question 6. Convert these times to the units shown in brackets. Round your answer to 2 decimal places for B, it says. But I'm only doing A for now. I want to change 6 hours into seconds. Trouble is, there's minutes in between there as well. So how do you change from hours to minutes? Times by 60. And then from minutes to seconds, how many seconds are in a minute? 60 again. So it's times 60 times 60. No, you can times 3,600 because that's what 60 times 60 is. Don't add the two 60s. So you can't do 120. So 6 times 60 times 60 is 21600 seconds. Question 7, write these times using the AM PM time for that first one. So this is what we call 24-hour time, 1720. If the first two numbers, the 17, if it's above 12, that means that we're in the afternoon, and you want to subtract 12 from those two numbers, so go minus 12 from those. 17 take away 12 is 5. The minutes stay the same, so 5:20. And because I had to do that subtraction, it means it's afternoon, so it's a PM time. If the numbers, the two numbers in the front are less than 12, then you just put the dot in and it's an AM time. Okay? And Pythagoras' theorem. There is 2 formulas for Pythagoras' theorem. If you're trying to find the hypotenuse, which you are in this first one here, it's hypotenuse equals the square root of a squared plus b squared. Okay, the a and the b are the 2 shorter sides that are connected by a right angle. So we're going to sub the 3 and the 4 in. So equal sign underneath, square root of 3 squared plus 4 squared. What does that equal? 5. Yeah, 5, exactly. Okay. C is the same again. That's finding a hypotenuse, so you could probably do this one with me. You don't need to copy it. H equals square root of a squared plus b squared. There's the formula. Subbing in, I'm trying to find the C, and it will be 5 squared plus 12 squared. And type it in. What do you get? Did you square root that? Yeah, so it should be 13. I think I should have chosen one of the other ones because I chose 2 hypotenuse ones. The shorter sides are these ones next to it. See how this one's different? Because the B is next to the right angle. That's a different formula. What's the formula for that one? A equals square root of h squared minus b squared. That's right. Just remember when you're using this formula that it is important that the bigger number, the hypotenuse, goes first. So that's the 15. So it'll be square root of 15 squared take away the 9 squared. And that will work out that side. What does that equal? 12. Okay. All right, that was the end of that section. Cool. All right, so this is the financial section, but the first part of the financial is going through some fractions, decimals, kind of converting kind of things. So some of that you might remember from year 7 as well. We did a lot of it then, and then it will go into the financial stuff in the end of the worksheets. So it says in question 1, rewrite the following with a denominator of 12. If I want to make 1/3, I want to put a 12 on the denominator here. I need to work out what do I times this 3 by to get over to that, oh, not a 2, to get to a 12. I have to times by 4. So you're going to do the same thing to the top. You're going to do 1 times 4, which is 4. Okay, so the fraction you want is 4 over 12. Question 2, rewrite the following fractions in simplest form. So for us, we're just going to do this on the calculator. We can do lots of stuff on our calculators now. We don't have to do it without like you did in year 7. So if you just type 5 over 20 in your calculator, it will simplify it for you. So it's 1 over 4. Question 3, yes, you could potentially do those ones on your calculator, but this is also good practice for our algebra. Remember, we have to add and subtract algebra stuff. So we can do this without as well. If we're adding, you need to have the same denominator, which this first question does. Okay? If the denominators are already the same, the 6 on the bottom is going to stay on the bottom, and you just add across the top. 5 plus 1 is 6. Oh, and this is a special one, because what does 6 over 6 equal? Just 1. Okay? That's the easier type. A little bit harder is this next one, because the denominators are different. If they are different, you times the two numbers together. 3 times 7 is 21. And then you times diagonally to work out what goes on the top. So starting with the 2, I times down to the 7. 2 times 7 is 14. Then minus sign. 4 times 3 is 12. And then I can subtract those. 14 take away 12 is 2 over 21. When you are multiplying and dividing, you don't have to have the same denominator. So that's a yay. That makes things easier. But we do look to see if there's things that we can cancel. So if you can divide anything on the top, over here say, we'd say anything on the bottom, usually diagonally, but not always. See the 2 and the 12? I can divide them both by 2 to get a 1 and a 6, dividing by 2. Okay, so try to cancel if you can, but then times the tops together. 5 times 1 is 5, and times the bottoms together. 6 times 3 is 18. If you miss the cancelling, you will just need to make sure you type your final answer into your calculator and press the equals button to get the calculator to simplify it down. Okay, it's exciting happening out there. These ones over here, just a bit harder because we have the mixed numerals. Do you know how to turn a mixed numeral into an improper fraction? You can use your calculator, so there's a good start. To type them in, you press 1, you need the 3 boxes. Do you see how we 3 boxes up? You press shift fraction button to get the 3 boxes, because remember, if you don't do that, it will times the number out the front with your fraction. Okay, so you don't want that. 1 and 2 fifths, and you just press equals. It's 7 over 5. Okay, so 7 over 5 times by, do the same thing to the other one. What do you get? It's going to have a 5 on the bottom. 9. Good. Does anyone know how to do it without a calculator? The number on the bottom stays on the bottom. To work out the top, you times 5 times 1, which is 5, and then you add the 2 on. So 5 plus 2 next to 7. So that's without a calculator. Then, because we're multiplying now, is there anything that we can cancel? Top and bottom. We're looking top and bottom. There isn't. Good. So I times 7 times 9. 7 times 9 is, and 5 times 5 is 25. And if you leave it like that, I'm happy. You can also change it into a mixed numeral, which would also be correct. E is also highlighted because it's a divide. What do we do when we see fractions divided? Leave, kiss, flip. We leave the first fraction, turn the divide into a times, and turn the second fraction upside down, 9 over 2. Now it's a multiplication problem. Can I cancel? What can I cancel? The 3 and the 9, I can divide by 3 to get a 1 and a 3. The 8 and the 2 going the other way, what am I dividing by? 2 to get 4 and 1. Very good. Times what's left? On the top, 4 times 3 is 12. And on the bottom, you have 1 times 1, which is 1. So you can put over 1, but when it's just a 1 on the bottom, we just leave it as 12. All right, so you'll see here that I have crossed off a bunch of things. You're not going to be expected to be doing negative numbers like that, so you can cross off that question. Let's keep going. Question 6, to convert between fractions, decimals, and percentages. On your study sheet, this was a fairly recent topic. We talked about if I have a percentage over here and a fraction and a decimal, okay, to go from the percentage, you divide by 100 and you times by 100 if you're going the other way. How do I get between the fraction and the decimal though? SD. Caleb, you're on it. Very good. Okay, so what am I doing? I have decimals and I want to go to fractions. So that's these two over here together. So I just have to press that SD button. Type it in, 0.225, and just press the SD, and there it is. It's a fraction. Very little work from you, just typing it in. All right, makes sense? Question 7, convert the following fractions into decimals by finding an equivalent fraction whose denominator of 10. You wouldn't have to worry about that extra part. Let's just go, how do I turn that into a decimal? Type it in, press the SD button. I'm not going to be specific about making denominators of 10, okay? So let's just forget that part. We go 3 over 5, and we press our SD button, and there's our decimal, 0.6. Okay, question 8, do it if you want to, but that's just type that in your calculator if you really want to do it. That should be nice, easy marks. Question 10, express the following fractions as recurring decimals. Again, it's a fraction. How do I turn a fraction into a decimal? Press SD. But then when you do that for these ones, you get the 0.222222222. How do you write a recurring decimal?
The dot.
The dot. So 0.2, and we put the dot above to say it's recurring. The next ones are also recurring. So if I type in 2 over 7, oh, it's not recurring. No, don't worry, get that. But this one says I want to round it to 2 decimal places. Okay, so I want to keep the 2 and the 8. The 5 needs to round, to go up or down. Up, so it'll be 0.29. Okay, question 12 would again just be use a calculator. Here we go, percentages time. Convert the following percentages into fractions. That diagram that I hope you drew down or have it somewhere. How do you turn a percentage to a fraction? Nope. Divide by 100. So you don't put the percentage sign in, but you do 62.5 and you divide it by 100. If it gives you the decimal, then you press the SD because you want it as a fraction. So it is 8 over 5. 5 over 8. I wrote it the right way. I just said it the wrong way. Anyway. 5 on the top, 8 on the bottom. Question 2, convert the following fractions into percentages. So I have a fraction. How do you change it to a percentage? Times 100. That diagram, make sure it's on your sheet. So you type in with your 3 boxes, 2 and 1/3. Oops, I put too many boxes in now. And then I times by 100. It says, well, it's still a percentage. Whether you want that percentage as a fraction or a decimal, I don't mind. Let's do that one maybe. Let's do 233 1/3. That way I don't have to round anything. Yeah. No. Question 3. Convert the following percentages to decimals. What do I do? Percentage to decimal. Divide 100. What does it equal? Yeah, these ones you can do in your head because you just jump in the decimal point back 2 spots. So 0.809 as a decimal. Question 4, this is a decimal, go to a percentage, go the other way. So what's this one? Times 100. So jump that decimal point over 2 places, what do you get? 73.2%. Question 5. Express 18 as a percentage of 60. Do you remember these? Should do. It was very recent. What do you do? Yes, make it a fraction, 18 over 60. And then I want it as a percentage. The 100. Well done. So 30%. Question 6. Find 56% of, that word of should make you think of something, 208. The of means times, yes. The 56% means 56 over 100. Of means times the 208. Okay, so 56 over 100 times by 208. Yeah, good. Is this topic easier because it's much more recent? Yeah, good. Question 7. Find the new value when 65 is increased by 20%. This is the increase decrease, right? So you find the 20% first. 20% is 20 over 100 times by the 65. Does anyone work that out? $78? Oh, that's the final. Oh, yeah, okay, yes, I know what you're doing. Yes, that's fine. You're fine, but I'm going to do it this way. You're doing the shortcut method, which is fine. Okay, so that's equal to 13. When it says to increase, you start with 65 and you add on the 13, which gives you the $78. When you do the decrease question over here, though, on the second line, you subtract off the number that you find. Increase added on, decrease subtracted off. Question 8. Find the selling price when $490 painting is discounted by 30%. That's the same as a decrease question. Worded differently, but we're decreasing by 30%. So find 30% of 490. $147, and then decreasing it means I want to do 490 minus the 147. Well, sorry? Thank you. Dollars. Good. Calculate the percentage profit or loss. So we're starting with $24 and it becomes 54. Is that profit? Is it gone up or is it gone down? So going up means it's a profit, right? So I want to know in dollars how much profit I've made. So 54 minus the 24 means that I'm making a $30 profit. Yeah. Okay, but to make that profit a percentage, we take our $30 and we want to make it a fraction, but what number do I put it over? The 24. It's the starting value, okay? So we put it over 24 and we times by 100 to make it a percentage. So that's going to be more than 100%. So it's 125% because we've increased it by more than what it was even worth. It was only worth 25 and it's now worth $30 more than that. Okay, the next couple of questions, please cross off. Questions 10, 11, and 12. We did not do those things and they will not be on your test.